There's one thing that drives me to drink about Call of Duty and YouTube: the influence that larger channels can have on the changes made to the game. Call of Duty World War II is a prime example of this. Michael Condrey is great when it comes to listening to feedback, and he takes critique from YouTubers very seriously. Now I'm going to pick on Drifter here as an example. He recently put out a video on an attachment called the Rifle Bullet, which is for the M30 Drilling shotgun. I watched the entire video and I couldn't help but to shake my head. First of all, I respect and admire Drifter. He's one of the founding fathers of Call of Duty YouTubers. However, with that said, he openly admits he hasn't used the attachment yet. Not only this, he used gameplay from his friend. Yet in his video and in the description of this video, he mentions that it may need a nerf and that it's possibly very overpowered. To make matters worse, the gameplay from his friend was essentially a montage. There were no negative aspects about it, only incredible shots. This gives a horrific illusion of this attachment's true capabilities. The problem here is that many people will take this video to heart and just replicate everything he says in it. Case in point, last night on Reddit. Just look at this post. The title says, "The Ridiculous Shotgun Sniper." His post then goes on to say, do I need to say anything else? Please nerf this into the ground because it just adds another layer of annoyances into this game. Please. Disregarding the fact that this was Shaggy from Scooby-Doo talking, it gets even worse. I replied to this guy telling him exactly why it wasn't even remotely close to being overpowered, which I'll be doing in this video as well. And he responded with this: "Not even crying, I'm just speaking my thoughts on what I've heard. I've not experienced the shotgun myself. Just when I saw it in videos, it looked ridiculous. And I generally don't like shotguns." At this point, I was done. This is a prime example of exactly the influence larger YouTubers can have. I can only assume Shaggy here watched Drifter's video and just bandwagoned on his opinion. Again, without even using it himself or knowing anything about it other than what was said in the video. This is how the Call of Duty community works, and this is how things get changed when they potentially shouldn't be changed at all. Now with all that said, I'm going to do a review of the M30 Drilling shotgun itself, but as well as the supposed overpowered rifle bullet attachment. I won't be speculating on anything, but rather showing you concrete evidence. So the M30 Drilling's in-game description states that it's a dual-barreled shotgun that delivers 2 quick, high-damage shells. If you look closely though, you'll notice there's really 3 barrels. In actuality, it's a triple-barrel combination gun. There's 2 shotgun barrels over a rifle barrel. Now this unique gun was mainly used by German pilots during World War II. In the event that a pilot was shot down, it was intended to be used in defense as well as for hunting game in order to stay alive until rescued. The rifle barrel shoots a massive 9.3 by 74 mmR bullet, which was initially designed for large European games such as Moose, Brown Bear, and Polar Bear. In Call of Duty World War II, however, you can only use the rifle barrel with a certain attachment, which I'll be discussing in just a bit. Now if you've already tried this weapon out, there's 2 things you'll notice right off the bat. It's incredibly difficult to use efficiently, and it's widely inconsistent. That'll be the overall theme of this gun, as you'll soon find out. Inconsistent and subpar. So let's talk about its efficiency first. This gun only comes with 14 shells, 4 of which are incendiary rounds. That's it. Remember, you only get 2 shells to shoot at a time, so you can fire the gun completely 7 times before you're out of ammo altogether. The other major drawback is the reload time. After you fire your 2 shells, you have to wait a whopping 4.1 seconds for it to reload. Although the shells do get added just a bit earlier if you're good at reload canceling. With the Hustle basic training skill, it'll reduce the reload time from 4.1 to 3.1 seconds. And thus, one of its major weaknesses. You simply can't go on streaks with this weapon. The likely scenario for a wielder of this shotgun will be engaging an enemy, firing both your shells, and then dying in the reload. If you run into more than 2 enemies at once, you have no hope whatsoever unless you're quick on the draw with a secondary weapon. As such, there will be no chain kills with this weapon, no frenzy kills, no quad feeds, and no triple kills. If you're lucky, you'll get a double kill, but even that's pretty rare. Now even if you do succeed in killing more than 1 enemy, you only have 12 shells, remember. So without the scavenger basic training skill, which is called forage, you'll be forced to rely on something else as a weapon. Did I mention that it's widely inconsistent? Sometimes you'll get a kill at an incredibly long range and think, wow, that was a long shot. Take this clip for example. To me, this is a long range kill for a shotgun. The problem is, I have no way of telling if my teammate here had damaged him already. Most encounters with an enemy will take both shells to kill him, often even at point-blank ranges. If you manage to get a kill with a single shell, consider yourself incredibly lucky. More often than not, you'll simply receive a hit marker and then die. In fact, I've got quite a few examples of this, which I'm more than happy to share. This weapon made me rage worse than any other weapon I've ever used before. Now in this first clip, I catch a smaller YouTuber camping his dick off. He gets the first shots off, but I connect with my first shell, only to get a hit marker and then die. Now I'd consider this a medium range miss. In this next clip, I hear an enemy coming from behind me, grandpa turn myself on my 2 sensitivity around to engage him, fire at point blank range, receive a hit marker, and then die. I suppose we could chalk this one up to me hip firing, but at that range, it should still be a kill. Now how about this one? This is even closer than the last. I get shot from behind, turn to face him like a man, and he jumps right into my barrel, which I hip fire. Then I receive a hit marker and I die. It doesn't get much closer than that, yet I still received a hit marker. Again though, I had hip fired. So let's try ADSing and see if that helps at all. In this clip, I anticipate the incoming enemy and set up shop. I'm pre-ADSing where I know the enemy will rear its ugly head. He enters my screen and is about to enjoy a double barrel shotgun blast to his face, only for me to get a hit marker and him kill me. In this clip, my recon plane shows an enemy is approaching, so I ADS downward right as he's coming upward. Again, my double barrel looks him straight in the eye and I get a hit marker and I die. This gun is a hit marker machine. A hit marker here, a hit marker there, hit marker, hit marker, hit marker. It's so vastly inconsistent. One glimmer of hope is to use the 4 Incendiary Shells that you get when using the Expeditionary Division. With these shells, the gun receives a slight pseudo buff. What I mean by that is, even if you get a hit marker, it'll often result in a kill due to the burn effect. This can essentially extend the range of the shotgun in a sense. For example, without these shells, it's possible to receive 2 hit markers in a row at medium to long range. However, with the shells loaded, the enemy is guaranteed to die due to that burn damage. You'd be surprised at how much this actually helps this subpar weapon. Again though, you only receive 4 of these, and you'll still be hindered by that slow reload time, which means getting multiple kills or going on streaks is not feasible. So now that we know just how average to below average the base gun is, let's take a look at the attachments. There's 6 attachments for the M30 Drilling. The reflex sight, quick draw, steady aim, advanced rifling, rapid fire, and the rifle bullet. Of note, there's no extended mags unfortunately, so the limited ammo will always remain an issue. Now of these attachments, 3 of them are virtually useless. Rapid fire is a complete joke on this weapon. Sure, the shells do fire faster, but what good does that do when you still have that massive 4-second reload time? You'll be firing your 2 shells faster to receive 2 hit markers faster. The attachments that really shine are steady aim and advanced rifling. With these 2 attachments, coupled with the Incendiary Shells, this weapon becomes decent. It's still not good by any means, and you'll still receive lots of hit markers and struggle against multiple enemies, but the increased hipfire accuracy and the extended ranges are absolutely noticeable. Now what about the rifle bullet attachment? Equipping this will enable that 3rd barrel to shoot 1 rifle bullet at a time. To activate this, you simply press left on the D-pad. Of note, this will completely replace your incendiary rounds, and thus they're not compatible. So first, let's talk about the benefits and drawbacks to this attachment. First up, the benefit. This rifle bullet has its own ammo supply, which benefits the gun greatly. You get 6 rifle bullets every spawn, in addition to the normal shotgun shells. So essentially, this attachment also works like extended mags in a bizarro world type of way. If you run the Forage basic training skill, which is Scavenger, it will replenish these rifle bullets as well. Next, it's very powerful. You'll often hear people claiming this the secret sniper rifle, and rightfully so, as this massive bullet is a one-shot kill from the chest up, for what appears to be an infinite range. This by no means is overpowered though, as you'll soon see. So what are the drawbacks of this attachment? First and foremost, as I mentioned earlier, it completely replaces the Incendiary Shells. Since they use the same activating command, which is left on the D-pad, you lose them altogether. Second, the reload time of this rifle bullet is dreadfully slow at 4 seconds. Remember, the normal shotgun shells reload at 4.1 seconds, so this is just a bit faster. With the Hustle Basic Training skill, it's reduced from 4 seconds to 3.45 seconds, which is still painfully slow. Third, it does take a second to switch from the shells to the bullet, and possibly even longer depending on how skilled you are at moving your finger to the left D-pad. I should note it does not default to the rifle bullet. Even if you have it out when you die, it'll default back to the shells upon respawning. You have to actively engage the rifle bullet mode every time you want to use it. Fourth, for some reason, you receive less shotgun shells when using this attachment. As I said earlier, without the rifle bullet attachment, you spawn in with 14 shells. When you equip the rifle bullet, you only spawn in with 12. Now lastly, despite how powerful it can be, it can also be a hit marker machine. The iron sights are not ideal to see long-range targets. As such, if you hit below the chest, you're gonna have a bad time. I should also note that there's no aim assist on this bullet. So as you can see, there's plenty of drawbacks associated with this attachment. Worse yet, if you equip the rifle bullet, you have to get rid of either steady aim or advanced rifling, both of which greatly improve this subpar weapon. Now if you want to be more precise with it, you can use the reflex sight, but then you have to take both steady aim and advanced rifling off. Of course, to get around this issue, you should swap divisions. In fact, there's absolutely no reason to use the Expeditionary Division when selecting the rifle bullet attachment, and this is because you lose the Incendiary Shells. The Infantry Division is a nice choice, as it'll give you 3 attachments. I highly recommend equipping steady aim, advanced rifling, and the rifle bullet. Now let's talk about tactics with this attachment. So far, I haven't seen anyone display how to properly use it. All I've seen are montage-like clips showing that it can cross-map people. If you actually take the time to use this attachment yourself, you'll realize that it's not all smiles and sunshine. The same issues that plague the default M30 drilling also affect the rifle bullet. Case in point, if you miss your rifle bullet shot, you're caught with your pants down and likely will die while reloading. And trust me, you'll miss a lot. Even if you're a skilled player, there's no aim assist, so you have to be incredibly precise. Don't get me wrong, it's very easy to hit a stationary player whose head is easily displayed, such as someone on the MG42 Nest. It's not, however, as easy to hit an enemy in motion. So ideally, you want to use this attachment to complement your primary shells. Once you get the hang of quickly maneuvering your finger to the left D-pad, you can really up the capabilities of this shotgun. For example, it can help counter the issue of not being able to kill multiple enemies. Let's say you encounter an enemy, but as per usual, your 2 shells only result in hit markers. You can then switch to the rifle bullet and finish him off, provided you have decent aim. It's a little faster than swapping to a secondary, and it's definitely more powerful. The most obvious way to use this attachment is similar to the overkill perk from prior Call of Duty games. You essentially have yourself a hybrid sniper rifle shotgun. If you're in close quarters, utilize the shells. If you find yourself engaged in a long-range battle, don't hesitate to swap to the rifle bullet and blast someone's head off cross-map. You do have to keep a close eye on what ammo you currently have equipped though. I found myself in a close quarters engagement expecting to have my shells, while in fact I was still on the rifle bullet, which normally results in your death. The hipfire accuracy on the rifle bullet is pretty bad, but it is possible to get lucky once in a while. One final thing I wanted to mention. I've seen a lot of people say that this attachment is unfair simply due to its sniper rifle-like characteristics. Many people are upset that you can one-shot someone across a map with a shotgun. And while there's no denying this, it's not fair to compare this to a sniper rifle. If anyone is calling for a nerf to this attachment based on this alone, then you obviously haven't used a sniper rifle in this game. Everything about the sniper reigns supreme over this measly attachment. Did you know that you can fire the Commonwealth bolt-action sniper rifle 4 times before a rifle bullet user can fire a second shot? That's assuming the sniper scopes in as well. If you no-scope or quick-scope, it's even more than 4 shots. So apparently, people are trying to say they prefer a sniper rifle that shoots every 4 seconds with only 6 bullets, as opposed to a bolt-action rifle. Somehow, I highly doubt that. Again, most of this stems from the fact that people haven't used this attachment for themselves. The balancing on it is ideal. There's nothing remotely overpowered about it. And that, as they say, is that. If you can stomach grinding the M30 drilling all the way to maximum level, you deserve a light at the end of the tunnel in the rifle bullet attachment. The question remains though, is this weapon attachment as overpowered as everyone says? Absolutely not. The drawbacks associated with this attachment far outweigh the positives. Is it possible to paint this attachment in a negative way via highlight reel cross-map shots? Absolutely. But that's exactly why I did this extensive review. With concrete evidence and facts, you'll see the true reality of this weapon. It's subpar at best. It has far too many negative attributes to be considered even a decent weapon. With the rifle bullet attachment, it does up the ante a bit, but it's still pretty dreadful. This attachment is more or less a novelty item, which I assume people will grow bored of. It's simply not competitive enough to warrant all this attention that popular YouTubers are bringing it. It's fun for sure, but it's also terrible. And that more or less sums up the entire M30 drilling shotgun. I've never asked for anyone to like or share any of my videos before, but next time you see someone trying to spout some Mickey Mouse bull squash about the rifle bullet or the M30 drilling being overpowered, please just show them this video.